Good morning, class. For part of your project, you're going to have to create a cash register. And for this, I recommend using the app Google Sheets. And Google Sheets, what it allows you to do is create a spreadsheet. And a spreadsheet is just a document that allows you to insert some equations and some formulas and do some math in your document. So without further ado, let's talk about Google Sheets and how to use it. When you open up the app, it will look similar to this. Now, I'm on my iPad, or excuse me, I'm on my laptop, and you're going to be on your iPad, so it will look a little bit different, but it'll look kind of similar to this. Instead of this up here on the top, what yours will have is down here in the bottom right-hand corner, there'll be a red plus sign. So when you click on that plus sign, it will open up a new sheet for you, a new document, and I have the same thing, it's just mine's a green plus sign up here. And that's how I open up a new document. I already have a document started, so let's go ahead and look at that document, and I'll show you how to use Google Sheets. So this is what a spreadsheet looks like. It's a system of cells, so there's going to be all these cells, all these rows, and all these columns, and you're going to be able to enter text and enter numbers and equations into each cell. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is list all the items that we have for sale. So you should have at least 10 items that you're selling, and you want to start over on the left and create your list of items. To type into Google Sheets, what you have to do on your iPad is double click in a cell, and when you double click in the cell, your keyboard pops up. Okay, so I'm going to click in a cell. Obviously, again, I'm on my laptop, so it looks a little different, but when you double click in a cell, your keyboard will pop up, and you can start typing in the cell. So I'm going to call this maybe items, and these are the items that are for sale. So whatever your business is, this is where you list what you're selling. So maybe you're selling a V-neck shirt and a crew neck shirt and a hoodie and a long sleeve shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of pants. I don't know what all you're selling, but those are just some things that I listed. Now, if you look at on my sheet, like this long sleeve shirt, it's too long to fit in that cell. So the way that you fix that is you just put your finger up here between the A and the B column and click down with your finger and then drag it over a little bit so that it fits. So now all of my items fit in that first column. And again, you'll have 10 items. I just left my list a little bit shorter. So that's what you'll do. Next, you want to make sure that you have the prices for these items listed. So next to items, I'm going to put price. And you should have a list of how much each one of your items cost. So again, I'm just making things up here, but let's say I want to say $8, and maybe the crews are $9. And the hoodies are $30, and the long sleeve shirts, are $15, and the shorts, those cost $20, and the pants, those cost $35. So I'm just making up some prices there. Alright, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to leave some space for your cashier to type in how much they're buying. So I call this quantity. How many are they buying? If you have a different name, then you could type that in. But this is where we want them to type in how many things they're buying. So there are some things that you can do once you've typed in some information. You can change the font, change the size, change the style, change the background color. You can do all sorts of things. And again, your screen looks a little different than mine. Over like on the top right hand part of your screen, you'll see like a letter A with some lines to the left of the letter A, and if you click on that, it will give you lots of options about font and size and color and all things that you can change. For me, mine's set up a little different because I'm on my laptop, so I can I can highlight my items, and I can change the font if I want. I can change the size if I want. And these are all things that you can do on yours also. All right, so we added our items, we added our prices, we left room for the quantities. So the things that you are required to find in this project are your subtotal. Okay, and your subtotal, get in a cell there and spell correctly. Oh, Lord. Okay, subtotal is your total before tax. So after you find your subtotal, then that will allow you to find your tax. After you find your tax, you can find your total, right? That would just be your subtotal plus the tax would equal your total. The next thing you want to know is how much cash your customers are giving you. So I'm just going to call that cash. Maybe they're paying with a $20 bill. Maybe they're paying with a $100 bill. However much cash they give you, that's where your cashier will type it in. And then the last thing that we want to know is how much change do they get back? Okay, so to find these things, you're going to have to do some math. You're going to have to program this spreadsheet to do the math for you. That way, every time your cashier sells something, they're not having to pull out a calculator and type in to find out how much the total is and then the tax. They just type it into your spreadsheet, and your spreadsheet calculates everything for them, and it's super fast and efficient. So you're designing your own cash register for your employees. So when you type into Google Sheets, the way that it knows that you're typing in a formula and not a word or numbers is you start with an equal sign. If you start with an equal sign in your cell, then Google Sheets automatically knows, okay, this is a formula or this is an equation, so I'm going to have to do some calculating. So you start with an equal sign. When you double click in the cell, whoops, let me go back here. When you double click in this cell on your iPad, again, your keyboard will pop up. And on that top row of your keyboard are some math symbols. There's an equal sign, a plus sign, a multiplication sign, a minus sign, a divided by sign. There's just some math things at the top of your keyboard so that you don't have to keep going through your keyboard to look for a plus sign because it's kind of hard to find. So use those buttons at the top of your keyboard for your formulas. Check it out. I want to do my subtotal. So I'm going to create a formula. And, you know, if someone bought a V-neck shirt, to find out if someone bought 2 V-neck shirts, it would be $8 times 2. So I'm going to put in equals, and then I'm going to click on this $8 cell, and that means that Google Sheets is going to take $8, and then I'm going to do times, multiplication symbol, and then I'm going to click here in this quantity box. So whatever number the cashier types in that quantity box, that is what the computer is going to multiply times 8. Okay, but then I'm also going to add the crew neck shirt. So if you bought a crew neck, it costs $9 times however many crew neck shirts they bought, plus hoodies times the number of hoodies that they bought, and so on and so forth all the way down. I want you to figure a lot of that out, so I'm not going to put it. For tax rate, you're going to have to take your subtotal and multiply it times the tax rate in Dodge City, Kansas. I don't know what the tax rate in Dodge City, Kansas is, but I bet that you can find out. So find out what the tax rate is and see if you can figure out how to figure the tax. For the total, you're going to create a new formula where you're adding these two numbers together. So those two numbers are never going to be the same, right? Each sale, those numbers are different. So you need to tell the computer that whatever's in this box, you add to this box. So you're not going to say equals 10 plus $1 because we don't know what the subtotal is yet. We need to wait and find out what the subtotal is. So again, I'm going to let you see if you can figure that out on your own. Right here, this cash box, this is where the cashier is going to enter what the customer is paying with. So maybe the customer is paying with a $50 bill, so they type in 50 right there. And whatever they type in right there, we want the computer to automatically figure out how much change the customer gets back. So if the total came to $34.63, we want to type in a formula here where the computer will automatically figure out how many dollars and how many cents change the customer will get if their total is $34.63 and they pay with a $50 bill. Okay, so again, I'm not going to get too far into that because I want you to figure that out. But I have created an example of what this might look like. Okay, so check out my example here. This is the Coffee House Cafe cash register. And you can see that I have different flavors of coffee over here on the left. Those are all my flavors of coffee. I have different prices for each item. And then I have a spot where the cashier can type in the quantity. Now, as I start typing in quantities here, let me fix that. As I start typing in quantities here, you will see things change in my spreadsheet. My spreadsheet is automatically calculating things for me. So let's say that a customer came in and they wanted 2 dark roast coffees, 3 cappuccinos, 4 espressos, 2 espresso macchiatos, and 8 pumpkin spice lattes. That's a lot of coffee, okay? But you can see that my spreadsheet automatically calculated that the subtotal is $73.31, the tax is $6.34, and the total is $79.65. So if the customer comes in and pays with a $100 bill, $100, the cashier will just type in $100 right here and hit enter, and the computer will automatically tell the cashier that the customer's change should be $20.35. So this is what you're going to create for your unique business. Notice that I changed the background color a little bit. I added some bold. I made some things bigger. I just changed things around so that it looked nice because I want my cashiers and my customers to have a pleasurable experience in the Coffee House Cafe. I hope that this tutorial helps. Let me know if you have any questions and we'll work on it together. Thanks a lot. Bye.